Hi, and welcome to Israel with a Sandwich. I'm Zach Funk.
I'm Joe Kira.
And this week we're going to be talking about the return of Venture Brothers, the first episode of Season 7, and just the series as a whole. Because we watched that together in college as a new show as roommates, a million years ago when it started.
Yeah, no, that was... I still remember, having to wait... I don't even know how many years between things. Again, super spoilers for this.
Yeah, obviously. Because...
Yeah. But, I remember, we watched the end of Season 1 and the boys died, and it was just okay, so, 2 years until the next one?
Yeah, and we had convinced ourselves, because they took the time to introduce Jonas...
Yeah.
That it was still going to be the Venture Brothers, just a different set of Venture Brothers. We're that's amazing, that's so brilliant, they're going to keep being the Venture Brothers, and this is all just a fake out.
But yeah, so we've been fans of the show since day one, and actually even before day one, because they had that weird pilot thing that wasn't very good, and I rewatched recently.
I know,
And it was just oh, that guy just wants to fuck technology.
Yeah, and... He was way ahead of his time. Now, a guy that wants to fuck technology would have his own YouTube channel and subscribers. And
probably more than us.
Probably. Good luck, technology fucking guy.
Especially because he's a ninja. Mm-hmm. Oh, I should drink something.
So, Joe, let's start with this then. Do you want to talk about the beginning of the new season? Or do you want to talk about just the show in general?
I would say the beginning of the new season and then kind of work backwards. And
okay.
There, because it's the most relevant bit. I love that very beginning thing where it flashes back to Jonas Jr. and finding the problem thing, and the fact that has been in the background of all of these shots.
Yes.
And we didn't notice it.
Yeah, and it's silly, but even beyond that, I just love that we got Dr. Orpheus and the Order of the Triad back. I understand why they didn't have them in last season because it wasn't a good place for them, but I miss them so much.
Yeah. Especially just then you find out that Dr. Orpheus has been living in a shitty motel.
Yes, and the other thing that's so great about watching this show is seeing how far culture and nerd culture has come.
Oh yeah.
When Dr. Orpheus was first introduced, Doctor Strange was a deep cut nerd reference.
Yeah.
Not he's one of the main characters of the #1 movie of the year.
Yeah, it's a big difference and I love it. So the part that I really loved, so it starts with Jonas Jr., mm-hmm. and they find the problem thing.
And he has the old punch-drunk boxer and the helper guy still.
And just oh, well, good thing we don't have to be superstitious about all of these things and just can go past this. And he sees a bunch of dead scorpions and it's oh, well, I don't want to step on these. Certainly not a curse. In a world where we know curses exist.
Yes!
It's just he's... I'm disappointed he died because there was a lot of room to play with him with naivete and everything, but I also get why they did it.
No, I completely support how they killed Jonas Jr.
Yeah.
Because it is partially was his naivete that killed him.
Yeah.
And having the investors involved in Gargantua too.
Yeah.
And the disease, and really if you think about it, ignoring the fact that they mistook him for a tumor and he lived inside Rusty all that time. If you lived inside Rusty Venture for that long,
yeah,
your body's gonna be fucked when the Rusty Venture is done to his body.
Yeah. Now, kind of on that, so immediately after watching the most recent episode with the problem button and finding out that, again, huge spoilers, that Jonas Venture's head is in the problem
his
thing.
Head and a nervous system, kind of he might still be alive. We don't know. I mean, obviously there's something going on there.
Yeah. That, you then go back and watch the second episode of the series if you're not counting the pilot, and...
Actually, it's the third.
Third? Whatever.
No, second if you're counting the pilot. Yeah.
Second if you're not counting the weird pilot thing. And it's that is nuts that they were... I don't know if it was planned that way, but, if you then watch it, it's crazy, because it's was Jonas the Phantom Spaceman?
Yeah. Yeah, because the light came on, and even just watching it and catching the references to, the event that happened, and we were all watching Sharky's Machine. And every time they say Sharky's Machine, all I can think of is Sharko's Machine, because that was a C-Lab episode. And that's the only context I have for that movie existing.
Yeah, but just that if you then go back to that old episode, it's... you don't know if Rusty's hallucinating because, that could have been a hallucination brought on by his dad, but then or brought on by all the drugs and the head injury, but he's never hallucinated before.
Yeah.
And because it was the second episode, you don't even question that.
Yeah, and for all we know, that could have been like Jonas projecting out of the problem machine.
Yeah.
And
because we saw that he clearly had the ability to do that with all the other bits. And I also love that you could say it's like, oh, but then he would have known it was him. And it's like, not necessarily.
Yeah.
That Jonas wouldn't be familiar with that level of technology that it's improved. Like, it still has that, like, 60s super science vibe, but they didn't have the internet back then. He didn't know about, like, how to connect all of the things.
And also, never ever forget Rusty's power of denial.
Yeah.
to I rewatched the episode, and when he's talking to possibly his father, possibly a hallucination.
Yeah.
All I could think of, like, was Scrooge from A Christmas Story. Of, you're not a ghost, you're a bad spot of cheese I ate before bed. Like that's Rusty.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're this and you're this, and he's like, well, yes, but then it just means you're insulting yourself because I'm a projection of you.
Yeah, which would be the sort of thing his dad would say, because his dad has no idea what's going on. He just regained sentience after.
Yeah, and also, as we saw from other flashbacks, Jonas Sr. was never an emotionally there person.
Yeah.
He was a super scientist, he was an adventurer, Spanakopita!
Yeah.
That exists because he kind of didn't care that his son got kidnapped, and then when he found out, he beat the shit out of some guys.
But, yeah.
But it was more so the same way he would have beaten the shit out of some guys if they scratched his car. He didn't care it was his son, he must have been something of mine. So, because of how they're doing some deep cuts now, going back to the first season, and after I watched that, I just kind of, I'm just going to put on my intro for this when I go to sleep tonight.
Yeah.
And I did that the next few nights, and I was rewatching the first episode of season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And first, Everybody's Free to Feel Good has been stuck in my head for like a week now.
Oh my god, that is like the... Do you know the story behind that?
Yeah, they blew like a quarter of their budget to be able to get that song.
But they lied to Adult Swim and said, like, no, we're totally making a version that doesn't have that.
Yeah.
And they're like, they never did.
No, because this is perfect for it. But because of them doing deep cuts, again, this could be a thing they never do. But because this show is like this and not afraid to make references to 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Not 15 at this point, but regardless. When they get to the rave and Brock is pulling Dr. Venture away.
Oh, yeah, this is my child.
This is Sky! We're gonna have a child together!
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, like, is that something they talked about, or did he get another person pregnant?
Yeah.
And there's like a 2 or 3 year old, like...
Yeah, kid running around, aside from the other Venture brother that you know about now.
Yeah. We should make 4 of them.
Oh, fuck, I hate Dermot.
I love Dermot. How can you hate Dermot?
Oh, I just do. He's skeevy.
He's such a... Yeah, that's the point of him. Dermot is like the white trash messiah that this show needs. To just be there and be shitty and be dumb. And to be a bad influence on Hank. Oh, shit. Enrico Matassa came back.
Oh, my God.
Another great, just deep cut of... Just, oh yeah, this one episode.
Where he decided to be the Hank and his handkerchiefs and all this. And just the setup at the end of that episode. There's a lot in that episode that sets everything up, but I'm curious if this is going to be a season that's going to be half flashback, half regular. Mm-hmm. Because, like, Wide Whale now knows that Monarch is Blue Morpho.
We presume that.
Okay.
Because he says, kill the Blue Morpho.
Yeah, but at this point, I would assume he's unmasked him. He has him tied up all supervillain style.
Yeah, but never discount the Venture Brothers' ability to comically play into tropes.
That is true.
Where it could be like Wide Whale either A, just doesn't know who the Monarch is. Mm-hmm. because the Monarch is the Monarch. Or B, it's, kind of like with Clark Kent with the glasses, he doesn't have the crown on. He's like, hey, just some guy. So
here's actually another thing. I'm going to credit Dorkly, and I will post the thing to their page for the thing. According to this one little thing I read, the Monarch killed Wide Whale's brother.
Oh yeah, no,
Dr.
no,
Dugall.
no, he totally did.
Dr. Dugall.
Yeah, I remember that completely.
Yeah.
From the moment he mentioned his brother, I was like, "Fuck, that's amazing."
Yeah.
He killed his brother. Yeah. Where are the cuttlefish? Is something that I still will just randomly yell when I'm angry.
Yeah, just like I that didn't occur to me, and then like I had read that one little thing on Dorkly, and it was like, wow, this is really great.
Did I tell you about my my amazing Venture Brothers tattoo idea?
No.
Okay. So this would actually be 2 tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
One either on my upper arm or somewhere shoulder higher up area.
Yeah.
And the other closer to my foot or an ankle.
Yeah.
But you have Hank dressed as Batman with the umbrella just about to jump. And then much lower on me, just Hank dressed as Batman with the umbrella crumpled up on the ground. Because that is just, when they do the death montage, that or carbon monoxide
Yeah.
is my favorite death.
So kind of on the Hank death thing, and again they know they're clones and all this stuff, and now Dean's messed up about it, but Hank just thinks it's more awesome. I also like how Hank has become frighteningly competent at things.
He has.
Like, he still doesn't have social skills, but like whenever he was like going to join Sphinx and everything, he passes every goddamn test.
Yeah.
And now he's dating Wide Whale's daughter, and like you're watching all this stuff that he's doing, and it's like, wow, all of this time is actually rubbing off on him, and he is becoming frighteningly competent. Like the episode where he actually became Batman.
That is, yeah.
And he's that crab person.
Yeah, there's a bat in the jungle. We must find him. Oh, and that's all just because he's hopped up on caffeine.
Yeah.
I'll eat these berries. It's one of the really, if you're watching this video, you've clearly watched the Venture Brothers, but if you, for some reason...
Well, no, there's like 2 people who might not have, who
okay,
watch us.
so if you're watching us and you have not
Wizard, maybe, I don't know.
watch the Venture Brothers,
it's on Hulu.
Or you know what? If you haven't watched the Venture Brothers, ignore me! Ignore me!
But yeah, no, like this is one of the best shows, and it's so clever, and it keeps one-upping itself.
And you know what? Fuck you people that complain about the long wait between Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Fuck you. You know nothing of our pain.
Or they might, because they're fans of Adult Swim in general.
Yeah, but there's a difference.
There is.
Especially because like Rick and Morty, at least Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland have enough social media presence where they kind of keep things generally updated.
And they do other things, and like they'll appear on something and talk about something.
Yeah, Venture Brothers, you just don't know.
Yeah, like legitimately, they killed Hank and Dean at the end of the first season. There is no announcement, no confirmation they're getting a second season until like at the time it came up. It was a terrible time of the internet where it wasn't being used to its full potential.
That's right. It was only slower versions of pornography.
I know.
It's an amazing show, and I'm so thankful it's back. One thing that's also very fun at my Soul Crush retail job, one of my coworkers in my department is also a huge Venture Brothers fan.
Mm-hmm.
And when things get really rough at work, we just openly discuss about how we're going to start arching customers or arching management. He works in the plumbing department. This started back when I worked in the paint department.
Mm-hmm.
So his arch villain name was the Master Plumber.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided my working in paint arch villain name was the Chromaniac.
I love it. I freaking adore that.
And so we will still occasionally just walk by each other at work and just go, Master Plumber, Chromaniac. And just some of the music references, just everything in pop culture is there. And I love how we're like, yeah, we introduced David Bowie as a character, and then we thought that was too limiting, so we made him a shapeshifter.
Yeah. And then it wasn't really David Bowie after all.
Yeah.
And, it's a brilliant show. And so the previous season, I mean, this kind of goes to like the quality of the show, where the most recent season is usually my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And like last season, they introduced characters that were so clever and so fun and interesting that like you could have given them their own thing, their own like show or season or whatever.
Yeah.
Just so the Monarch could kill them.
Yeah.
Like the was it the Doom Society or whatever?
The Doom Society. You know, the Doom Factory.
The Doom Factory.
Yeah, which visit the Andy Warhol Museum. You'll get a lot of Doom Factory references. So here's my question for you, Joe.
Yes.
Based on this point, obviously we're only one episode in. We don't know how many episodes the season's gonna be. Usually
it could be 3.
Yeah, usually they're between like 10 and 13, but we don't know.
Yeah.
First question: do you think we will get a season 8?
That is again one of those things where I have no idea, because like Adult Swim is great, but like they make weird decisions, and I don't know.
Yeah, and
I think Dan Harmon, Doc Hammer,
and Jackson Public.
You don't know. Like, if they get the option to make it, I'm sure they will.
But it might be like 4 years from now, in which case the world might not be here.
Yeah.
And the Space Force is protecting us.
Yeah.
So the other question I have for you.
Yes.
Does the guild thrive, or because of essentially what I'm going to get at is because of the Monarch's work to dismantle the guild essentially because they wouldn't let him in it.
Yeah.
Because I think it would be very interesting if we got to a point where the guild isn't a thing anymore.
Yeah.
And you have unregulated villainy.
That would be a really interesting way of going. I don't know. Geez, I don't know. Well, so here's the thing. Just from the one trailer. What's the guy's name? Not Red Skull, Red Death.
Red Death. Oh, I love Red Death.
He's gonna be on the Council of 13.
Nice. Yancey Brown, keep doing these characters. Thank you for being Lex Luthor.
Oh, that's Lex Luthor. I'm bad with voices. And faces.
Okay. Yeah. So no, Yancey Brown was Lex Luthor in Superman and Justice League cartoons. He's the Kurgan in Highlander.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those people who like. You don't know his name, but you recognize him. You recognize his voice. He's in so many fucking things.
Okay.
And he's Red Death, and oh my gosh, just sweet old retired Grandpa Red Skull.
Yeah.
Which is thankfully not a Nazi, so I can like him.
Yeah. just a mass murderer.
Yeah. Totally different.
Yeah.
He murders.
No political agenda.
Yes, that's very important. Otherwise. I really hope we get more of the knockoff Avengers Justice League.
Oh, that was so cool. Just like, again, that's another like little thing that they could have done a whole show on that, and these are just background characters in a really interesting show.
Though I do really, if anything, I just want more, was it Gloriana? Like the Wonder Woman type character. And even just the way she calls Brock Sampson Heracles, like she's just in her own... And she out-Brocks Brock. Yeah.
Well, that was one of those just fun things because there was no one who could keep pace with Brock Sampson, and then he meets superheroes, and he is on point with that Captain America guy, but wearing women's clothing.
Stars and Garters.
Oh, that's his name. Okay.
Yeah, that's why he's dressed like that.
Okay, that's very clever. I like it.
Yeah, Stars and Garters is a phrase I've never heard out of the context of Beast from X-Men saying it.
Now, I remember watching a weird thing forever ago about, just a Comic-Con thing about Venture Brothers. And I had if I had ever gotten to be the guy who had to ask a question at one of those things, I had a question that I wanted to ask Doc Hammer. And for the love of God, I'm really glad I didn't get to ask it, just because the show has continued on, which was, what is your favorite idea, concept, or character that you just kind of had to throw away because you didn't think you would get to it, or just it didn't work in that series? And they have brought so much of that stuff back because this show has come back from the dead more than any other show.
Yeah.
And like it would have been terrible if he had told me that Doc Venture's really alive, but in the problem thing.
Yeah, and even just hearing that, we talked about the Doctor Strange, Dr. Orpheus thing. Like they had to fight Adult Swim and convince Adult Swim that Doctor Strange is not too obscure a reference.
Yeah.
And I love watching how the culture has changed and how the show has been able just to be its own thing.
Yeah, this is. I don't know. There are a lot of shows that I deeply, deeply adore, and I wouldn't want to say which one's my favorite.
Yeah.
But Venture Brothers is probably within the top 10.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't know about you, Joe. I remember watching the original Johnny Quest cartoons as a kid. I remember watching like the '90s Johnny Quest reboot that had weird like, hey, here's early '90s. You're starting to do CG animation. And I remember Venture Brothers starting out just as a Johnny Quest parody.
Mm-hmm.
And as a Johnny Quest parody, it was very good. But it has just gone light years beyond the original mission statement.
Yeah, like I don't know, kind of like the closest analogy I would come to is The Daily Show started off as kind of just a parody of what was happening in the news, and then like I remember there was like a thing where it was just more Americans get their news from The Daily Show than they should.
Yeah, really, I
and just Venture Brothers has. I think that's the highest praise I can get to, is that I enjoy Venture Brothers as much as I enjoy Jon Stewart on The Daily Show.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel as well. And I feel like that pilot is when Craig Kilborn was on the show.
Yeah.
Hey, we have an idea of what we're trying to do. It's not quite great yet, but trust us.
Trust us, it's going to get a lot better.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for joining us on this little thing about watching and talking about the Venture Brothers.
Because it's an amazing show, and just thank you. And I really do want to get a Venture Brothers tattoo, but I can't decide on what.
Oh, yeah, it's a good show.
It is amazing.
Hi, my girlfriend came back with the dog.
Are you filming?
We are.
We can cut around things. We're talking about Venture Brothers. You want to talk about Venture Brothers?
No.
She hasn't seen the new episode or the new season.
I
She's
also
really
don't want to
behind.
be in the camera.
Yes, that's right. Go to your actual followers who send you money and gifts.
Yes.
We're going to be here with our 3 people. We love the fuck out of you 3 people. One of you's probably Derek Burge.
Shout out to Derek.
Mm-hmm.